Right. You know, but it's important to understand about the Libyan security environment that it's very porous. There's abundant weaponry that's all been stolen from Gaddafi's arsenals during the revolution.
Right.
There is no security services. The Libyan state doesn't exert a monopoly on force. So when we talk about pre-planned, we have to decide whether it's something that had been planned months in advance, weeks in advance, or was it something that was hastily put together, a couple of cell phone calls, half an hour before. They knew that Ambassador Stevens was there. They knew it was a soft target. And they seized the moment. So it may have been planned, but it may have been planned 30 minutes, 45 minutes beforehand.
Right. And then, of course, we get into the whole the question of immediate aftermath. When did U.S. intelligence know exactly? When did they tell the White House, which obviously is going to become a crucial issue in terms of who knew what when and who is to blame for any errors that may have happened. But, Jeff, from your reporting, and you've done a lot in terms of studying these jihadist and extremist groups, I mean, you're talking, what I find incredibly ironic here is that these groups that are linked to al-Qaeda wanted Muammar Gaddafi to be killed. That was something that was actually accomplished by the United States, who they are now trying to attack.
That's right. I mean, they don't care who does their work for them, so long as their work gets done, right? So, yes, they wanted Gaddafi killed. I mean, during the 1990s, there was a group in Libya called the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group that was a Salafi jihadi organization. They tried to assassinate Gaddafi in '96, and Gaddafi retaliated massively. And they all fled to Afghanistan, Pakistan, joined up with al-Qaeda. During the revolution, they came back. They reformed. They recreated the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, not necessarily named as such. And then they leveraged the NATO support which assassinated Gaddafi.
Jeff Cousins, let me ask you, how big of a problem are these groups right now?
Well, I think they're a major problem. They don't represent a great proportion of Libyan citizenry, obviously, but you're talking about small rejectionist factions. And I would just jump on a point that Jeff Porter made. A lot of these organizations integrate jihadi veterans who have some combat experience into their ranks, whether we're talking about Iraq, in which Libyans represented a very sizable contingent of foreign fighters there, or even in the Afghan-Pakistan war zone. I mean, you have a lot of folks with a great deal of experience, and that also plays into the reason of why we didn't know about this in its entirety before it happened. A lot of these guys are very sophisticated in their operational secrecy and in their tradecraft. So you're talking about the use of couriers, word of mouth, etc.
Right, and Eli, let me ask you about this crucial question that we've been reporting on, really since this began, which is what appears to be, and actually I'm not going to use the word appears, I mean it is, at least from the way it's come out, a real disconnect between what the U.S. Intelligence Committee is saying they knew and when they knew it, and what the White House and the State Department have said, i.e. their hesitance from the White House and State Department to use the word terrorism and to talk about al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda-linked groups.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a difference here between raw intelligence that's coming in the context of an investigation, and journalists on the ground, as well as intelligence officers who are, stationed throughout the intelligence community, are collecting that information and putting the clues together. Then there is the question of sort of what is the official intelligence product that would go to senior government executives. And the writing of that intelligence product, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what was written, what was the classified version, what was the unclassified version, were those two different versions, and so forth. I have seen one version of talking points that were unclassified that supported what Ambassador Rice and Victoria Nuland and Jay Carney had said. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that was the only briefing or talking points that there were. Right. And certainly the information that was coming in, and people have come to me as a reporter, but I'm not the only one. I know that CNN has done a lot of great reporting as well. But people have kind of come out of the woodwork because they were hearing for 9 days something that just did not make any sense from what the information that they were seeing as it was coming in.